What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about the New England Patriots claiming Detroit Lions tight end Matt Sokol off of waivers, again, from the Detroit Lions. Basically, this is a signing by the Patriots. But I think that this is actually a surprising move, especially for a lot of Patriots fans, because this could actively push guys like Devin Asiasi and Dalton Keene out the door. So before we hop into this one, make sure you guys hit that like button. It really helps out with me and the channel and the YouTube algorithm just by hitting that thumbs up, watching the video, and of course, subscribing to the channel if you have not already for all of your New England Patriots news, and turn on that bell notification while you're at it so that you do get notified as soon as I post a new video. But the New England Patriots are adding to their tight end group here, rather, I should say, which arguably is large enough as it is. Interestingly enough, to make things, well, more interesting, the Patriots decided to claim him off of waivers. They didn't even let him hit free agency, which means this is a guy that they do see potential in. Now, he was an undrafted signing back in the 2019 season. He has appeared in 2 games, just 2 games. Both, of course, did occur with the Chargers, but nothing really came out of it. Now, although so far he's been a journeyman in the NFL, he's been a pretty respected journeyman that teams continue to like to bring in. He's had 2 stints with the Lions, the Chargers, and the Jags. Now, he was actually an older prospect when he went undrafted. Part of how old he was did go to him going undrafted. He's 26 years old. He had signed a futures contract with Detroit back in January. But this move also makes sense because Matt Patricia, while he was a head coach for the Detroit Lions, actually brought him into the building. So there is some familiarity here, which ultimately could have led to him being signed and claimed by the Patriots, was because Matt Patricia goes to Bill Belichick, kind of gives him some insight on this guy, says, hey, I think that he could fit as a potential, rotational piece as a blocking guy. He just has some potential in general that could be tapped here in New England. You do need some guys for camp bodies. You need guys to be brought in essentially for the preseason. He's a guy that you should bring in. Belichick listens to him because, at the end of the day, Matt Patricia is looking like he could potentially become the Patriots offensive coordinator. So just a little interesting tidbit to keep in mind here. Now, he is 6'6", 260 pounds. This is a big tight end coming out of Michigan State, of course. Now, I do want to add that the 2 games that he actually played in the NFL, he was promoted to the active roster. So he was never actually a part of the initial 53-man roster. He was always a guy who was placed on the practice squad, and then because of, the pandemic reasons and guys being able to be elevated, he was a guy that twice saw elevations because of this. Now, during those games, he saw 15 snaps on offense and 20 snaps on special teams. Now, as a member of Michigan State, he appeared in 52 games with a total of 22 starts. Now, the East-West Shrine Bowl actually invited him, and during his time, he totaled 31 catches for 348 yards and 2 touchdowns during his time with the Big Ten. It looks like the Patriots are really trying to get this initial team down, this initial 90-man roster down, as they are now at 88 out of 90 players before the start of their first organized team activity, or OTAs, that will be scheduled for May 23rd. Now, although he does bring good size, he really isn't much of a receiving ability. Hasn't proven that in the NFL with his transition here, and never really proved that in college. He was always kind of a rotational guy and was always more of a special teams guy and kind of that rotational blocking piece. Now, the Patriots are a team that always like to have an extra offensive lineman in there. Maybe he's a guy that gets stashed on the practice squad, gets an elevation, and becomes a piece to this offense as a blocking piece for when they're going to be coming into a run-heavy game. Ultimately, even if he makes the practice squad, it's going to be depth for these tight ends. He now becomes the 5th tight end on the New England Patriots depth chart. Obviously, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, and then 2020 selections in Dalton Keene and Devin Asiasi. Now, I will say that both of these guys, both Devin Asiasi and Dalton Keene, are definitely on the outside looking in. They definitely need depth behind Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, especially if this team really decides to continue to take this two tight end approach in the 2022 season. But so far, we really haven't seen anything from Devin Asiasi or Dalton Keene. More so, Dalton Keene. So if a guy like Matt Sokol comes out of training camp, of these organized team activities, mini camp, and he's performing, it could really push one of those guys out. Ultimately, I do believe that it is going to be an uphill battle for him to make the final roster for sure. But again, if he does end up making this roster, what you should expect from him is a guy that's going to come in mainly as a run blocking and impact blocking piece, and someone that's also going to play special teams, not going to give you that pass catching ability really. Now, real quick, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this video, betonline.ag. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that baseball is back and the start of the Major League Baseball season is here. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It is super easy to get started. All you guys have to do is head to the website today, or use your mobile device to join us using that promo code CLNS50 to receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. But the New England Patriots have decided to claim tight end Matt Sokol off waivers from the Detroit Lions. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.